Okay, welcome back, everyone. And this is going to be a dimensionality reduction workshop now, given by Anders Hast from InfraVis. And yeah, you can start, Anders, whenever you're ready.
Yes, we will start with Nikita just explaining a little bit about InfraVis so everybody knows about it and can also use us as a resource.
Thank you, Anders. Yeah, I like the idea that we can start a little bit with the introduction, what is actually InfraVis is. So I can just show you some glimpse of InfraVis, like just a quick presentation. Okay. Yes. Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. Yes. So I don't know like how many people know about InfraVis, but this is basically like national research infrastructure for data visualization. So it's like a scientific discovery through visualization support. And in total, we are like 9 university working together and support, giving support and technical support and also user training such as like Anders is giving today. Oh, yeah. Okay. And this is basically an like infrastructure. InfraVis is like people infrastructure, and we are not providing like hardware or any equipment, but we are basically like supporting people like in their research. And this is how we started our InfraVis, and we have selected a bunch of different type of supported projects when we had begun with InfraVis in 2022. And you can see like we had the variety of projects that when we started. So we had like climate changing, we had like virtual reality based topic we have in healthcare, and also like see pedestrian noise visualization, and also in digital twin, like just to see like different examples. And you can also check our website that I will be showing quickly. And this is like how InfraVis has been like set up. So we have like management group team, and the director is from Chalmers, Monica Billiger. And then we have steering group who actually take the technical decisions. And the chair is Anders Yeneman from Linköping University. And then connected with that, we have other board members. Um, and here in the Uppsala University, we have Ingela Nindström. She's the node coordinator, and other and then we have also other 7 other node coordinators within InfraVis. And then we have like several application experts within this group. So this is how you can see like the whole InfraVis has divided into like 9 categories, like with 9 universities. And so we are more than 50 people who are working with visualization, and also we have like faculties like working with like different topics, and also like in like lectures and all. And here in Uppsala, we are like the people are involved is Anders Hast, Ingela Inström, and myself, Nikita Singh, at the Department of IT. And we also have colleagues from CDHU, Anna Foka, Mats Lindström, and now we have Jayant Yadav with us. And what we offer, so basically we have like expertise and visualization, AI, and human in the loop. We have competence from the national top academic resources, and we also have like tools, integrated tools, and provide workflow and methods. And then we also give access to the national infrastructure and laboratories, which is we have set up already in the universities. So in expertise, so how the visualization workflow works. I mean, so we have like we give like data curation. We can help in data curation, machine learning, AI, statistical data analysis, data visualization, and also like interactive and collaborative visual analysis. So the organizations that have received support from InfraVis nodes, like total universities that we had, So the project we have received from the last 2022 to 2024, this is how we have tried to visualize it in such a way that you can see, like, we have actually given support to many other universities than just the InfraVis universities. So we have like, and also like we have international support that we have given. That was surprised, like, to see like Stanford was also in that. And the support level is actually starts from this help desk. So this is totally free of charge. So we give like free guidance, and if you want, like, how you want to begin with any project and all that, it's like level 1 project. And then we have mid-level project that can count like around like 80 hours that we can give support, and that can also go about like 100 hours that we give. So like in like data visualization, data cleaning, and if you also want to write an application support. And if we go more than 100 hours or like 80 hours, then we have in-depth support, and then they're user fee apply. And here if you want to tailoring the existing software solution or implementing new approach or methods in specific application. And these are the outreach activities and user training that we do. And this is the one of the example that Anders will give today. And also we have some self-development thing like internal training that we also give to train the trainers, like to the application experts, to learn like different techniques and tools, and like to just improve our skills. So for this, I mean, you can get support from us, and you can also subscribe like event and news by newsletter. And now we are also available on social media. But I just want to show you the website. So it's like, so this is the website. Look, if you go to the infravis.se, and here when you apply for the support, and this is free. You can apply for up to 100 hours, and you just need to write like here your email address, name, and subject, and your message, and that this will come to us, and then we will try to give you a support. And then for like in-depth support, we have call for application. We usually announce every semester. So right now we have closed, but soon we will start for like next phase, like in June or July. So here you will see more details if you go to. And then for like further projects type, so we have mid-level project. So you can see some examples how it is. It's really nice to just to see like, okay, what kind of projects we have, and it's really good to scroll up and down. So please have a look to this. And for the laboratories and resources, we have like labs and infrastructure. You can always go to the lab and infrastructure and see if you need some kind of help. Like, so we have in KTH, Umeå, Linköping, Uppsala, like everywhere. So it's in also like in Lund. So it's very much like that. But okay, yeah, but I will stop now. I don't want to take more time. Thank you for listening. I will hand over to Anders now.
Thank you very much, Nikita. So I will try to share my screen. Let's see, there's something, if I can share, let's see. Here's my presentation. So very nice.
Just a moment, Anders. I just want to point out that what Anders is showing is in presentation, but the same material is in the link which I just shared. It's in the dimensionality reduction part of it. So yeah, carry on.
Okay, very good. First of all, I'm sorry that I sometimes have to make ugly coughing noises because I actually have the flu, but today I feel much better. And I've been looking forward to this so much, so it's a little bit sad that I'm not in 100% full shape. But as you see here, I will talk about how to make visualizations from your science and make science from your visualizations. That might sound a little bit strange, but the thing is that when you do visualizations, you sometimes think about it as the end product of your research. You make some nice pictures for your publication or something like that. But as it says here, you can also make discoveries in your visualizations. And this has been, for me, one of the most important reasons why I use dimensionality reduction. And I would like to tell you all that whatever kind of data you have with several dimensions, do dimensionality reduction on that data, and you will see that you can understand your data so much better. You will find things that you are not aware of, and I will give examples of that. And you will also find errors in your data, and sometimes make very surprising discoveries. I had one such the other week, which I will not tell you about now, but I need to publish that, which was amazing. So sometimes you really find things in your data which are important. And perhaps some of you do machine learning. You cannot almost avoid machine learning nowadays. It comes everywhere. But whatever kind of data you have that you want to classify in some way, what it all boils down to is to find the decision boundary between data, like in this case, where is the boundary between the blue and the red data points. So if these data points are based on some features, some vector that contains the description of them, then of course the classifier tries to recognize which data do I have. And the thing is that if you can do dimensionality reduction on those and visualize them, and you can see that you actually have this boundary, then there's a really good chance that also your classifier can find that boundary. But if it's a complete mess, it's a complete mix of red and blue points when using data dimensionality reduction, then probably whatever deep learning you use, it will be very hard to find the boundary. So it's a very good way to sort of analyze your data in beforehand, or even analyze the very last layer of your deep learning pipeline to see what kind of feature vector it has produced before making the actual classification. And that's something I've been looking at myself recently. So what we have to remember is that data or dimensionality reduction is something like in this picture where you do these shadow casts on the wall. The real data, in this case, your hands, are three-dimensional, but the data that you see in the visualization is 2D. So you lose, in this case, one dimension. But in the lab that you will see, you lose 512 or 511 dimensions. So you must be aware of what you see is not a true picture of your data, but it's a visualization of your data. And it can sometimes be a little bit skewed, so it's not, you have to think about that. And I will come back to this picture a little bit later. So this is also in the lab, a bit later in the lab, the iris data set. It's very interesting because I think the guy was called Fisher. He measured the petals, and are they called sepals? The width and length of those, and made a feature vector of just these four data. And by using PCA, which is a very common dimensionality reduction technique, and you can use it for other things as well, compression and so on, you get this picture. And you can see that the blue ones are very well separated from the red and yellow, but then the decision boundary between the yellow and red is a little bit complicated. But they separate pretty well. And PCA has been used for many things. It works very well for instance, DNA analysis to find which region are different people coming from when they dig up somebody or archaeologists and so on. So this principal component analysis is very helpful. But it can also be a little bit problematic. If you look at this picture here, up in the right corner. So here I have different handwritten words that I visualize. And you can see that the different clusters, or let's say the different words have different colors, and they overlap. So what you basically see with PCA is the overlapping hand from the previous picture. Data overlaps and you don't really get a good picture. While TSNE managed to separate the fingers, so to speak, or separate the words and visualize them separately. So TSNE, which has a very strange name, as you can see, it was actually invented by Geoffrey Hinton, who got the Nobel Prize recently, and one of his PhD students. And I really like TSNE for many reasons, and you will see that also in the lab. This picture here is only to show that if you have some kind of feature vector out of the image and not just use the image, some classes will separate better, like this one will separate here. So the feature you have can also have a big importance, actually, what you do. So what TSNE tries to do is to look in the high dimensional space, and data points that are close in high dimensional space will also be close in 2D. And points that are far away in high dimensional space, it tries to separate in 2D. But we must remember it's a projection, so the real distance between points will be skewed somehow. Then there's UMAP, and it's very hard to explain. It actually is sort of a mathematical construction on a Riemann manifold. Just that can scare people away. This one is preferred by many because it's said to conserve the local distance better. However, there are reasons to doubt that, and I have seen just a few examples actually where UMAP makes a better result than TSNE. In like 90% of the cases, TSNE makes a better result, in my point of view. But you have to figure out that yourself, depending on what data you have. So it can be depending on that. But I use both just to check and see what happens. And I must confess that I'm a MATLAB programmer myself. So I've done most of my experiments in MATLAB. And for this course, I actually had to do it in Python. And that has been a very interesting experience. It works very well in Python. But I actually think MATLAB has some advantages. But I will not say that now because this is a Python course. But it works well in Python too, but in different ways. Okay, so the data you will try in the beginning is based on face recognition. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about that. So face recognition has 3 stages. First, just finding the face. I took myself as an example riding the train because I live in Gävle. I have to go to Uppsala now and then. So finding the face and then aligning the face so it's sort of straight and centered in the image, and then you get a feature vector out of it. And this is interesting because face recognition will work regardless if it has seen the face or not. You get a feature vector and then you take the dot product of other feature vectors to compare, is this the same person or not? So if the dot product is close to 1, then it's probably the same person. If it's very low, it's not the same person. And I had a pipeline for face recognition, which I was very happy with that one. It worked very well. So I thought I would be using that. And then, of course, since I do dimensionality reduction, I thought, okay, I have to look at it. So I ran TSNE and I get this result. And I was thinking, what is this sort of tail under here? What happened? And when I looked at it, I was very surprised. And you can see all the faces in the tail are profile faces. So that gave me the insight that this pipeline cannot handle profile faces very well. it makes a feature vector that looks similar to all other profile faces. So you cannot discriminate who is who. So this is really a disadvantage with this pipeline. And I would have never known this unless I had done the visualization. So that was very helpful for me. So then I run another pipeline, and from the same data, I get this visualization. And now everything is more clustered and everything works better. And if you zoom into the clusters, you can see that for the same person, you have both kind of front faces and profile faces. So this pipeline for face recognition makes a much better feature vector. Then there's another story, why are everybody looking the same? But this is actually from the police register that the police had in Sweden about 150 years ago. So I used that data, and you will have that in the lab as well. Then I made another very interesting discovery, because this beautiful woman here ended up here. And the interesting thing, which I didn't know beforehand, but when I colored the photos with a red dot for women and a blue dot for men, I could see that men and women are placed differently. And this is, of course, very natural when I think about it, because men and women have different geometry in their face, and that must come out somehow. And it's in the feature vector, and that's why they are separated. But I thought when I saw this, oh, this blue is in the wrong place. There must be some error in the database. But then when I looked in the database, it says Carl August, women's imitator. So it's a man, actually. And you can see that there is a suspicious gap between him and another woman. And when I used another kind of feature vector, he actually went down among the men. So it also depends on what kind of pipeline you use. And then there was one of my colleagues who asked me, but this woman really looks like a man. Can it be? And he ends up down there. So I think it's a he, but of course I cannot be sure because this is very old data. But the visualization really gives you an idea about things. And another thing I used for this was that TV asked me, these women that surround Putin all the time, is it the same one? And I really thought they were the same one, but AI could actually tell that this one is different. And you could use ordinary face recognition for this. The cosine similarity that you compute between this photo and that photo will be very low. But the visualization I made makes this much more clear if you look at it. So I ran TSNE on the photos, and this woman cluster here, and you get an average similarity, which is quite high because it's the same person. And these ones have a very high similarity as well because it's on the same photo occasion. But the similarity between those two groups is very, very low. So this means that it's actually it's not the same person. And interestingly, this blonde woman is much more similar to that dark-haired woman. and this shows that we as humans are very biased by the appearance. We see a blonde, we see a dark, okay, they are completely different. And we see two blondes, oh, they are the same. So we are easily fooled that way. But you cannot fool AI in this case. So the visualization gives you a better understanding of the data. And here I want to show you something very quickly. And this is not my idea, but I think it's really clever. If you have data and you have a label of the data, you know that this data point belongs to this class and so on. You can color the classes by a color and make a convex hull around them. And now the convex hull is so small and covered by the data points, you hardly see it. But you can see some long lines somewhere, and it's more apparent here in this other data set. And when you zoom in, you can see what's going on here. So there are at least two things that can happen. Either one of the data points is problematic, And this is actually faces from face recognition. So it can be that you have a profile face and they make a grimace, or they have black glasses or a big beard or something. And that will make a kind of corrupt feature vector. And therefore, the person might look more like another person than the real person, so to speak. And this gives you an idea, should you keep these data points if you do training, for instance? Then that data point might be more detrimental than helpful. But you can also get this case over here. I hope you see my pointer now. You have this red data points and the green ones, and they cover the same area. And that indicates that probably it's the same person. And I know I have several cases in this data, because if a person has a double name and they have sort of get a lot of data from internet, it can happen. Like in my case, my name is Hans Anders, but if they find a photo of Anders Hans, I'm still the same person, but the name is different, so they think they are different persons. So there are a lot of these problems in face recognition data, that you have false labels, so to speak, or twins. Sometimes you have these interesting cases. So by just making a convex hull on your label points, you can see a lot of interesting things, actually. So now I've been talking quite a lot about this, and what I wanted to tell you is that use this dimensionality reduction techniques. If you use TSNE or UMAP, or why not try both? Doesn't matter. But I think you will make discoveries in your data. Don't take your data for granted. Look at it, see what happens. And also when you have sort of worked on the data, produced new features, look at those results and see what happens. And I just wanted to tell, this is my research page and my email. If you have any questions about this, if you have interesting data you want to discuss, I would be very happy to do that, because I learn from that, and I think it's really interesting. So now I wanted to share the actual lab. I hope you see that now. So this is a very, very long Python sequence in Jupyter, and what you should do now is to read the text very carefully, because by going through this step by step, you will get some insight into what you actually see in the visualizations. So you will learn from this, and hopefully it can be useful for your future. I don't know how much time you have now, actually, because I think we almost used half an hour now.
We have 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left. So I suggest that you run this on your own, rather than I run through it very quickly now. But it's based on these police photos, where you actually have one almost front face and one profile face. They were very clever to use this mirror. So I suggest that you run through. I don't know if there will be any time left now to do it, but I could also take questions now. You can start running this now, or whatever you like, but I will be very happy to answer any questions you have as well.
Hi, Professor Ander. Okay, sorry. Linus, I'm first.
Yes, please.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, my question is, how much time and how much compute resources do you think this notebook takes? What kind of time should we find in order to go through this?
Oh, yeah, I think it will take half an hour at least to do it on a computer. If you read everything, and it could even be done in like 5 minutes. But if you read it and really think about it, it will take some time. But it will not take any compute resources. So I run this on my 5-year-old Mac, and I think the most complicated thing here takes 1 minute or 2 or something to run. which is the TSNE or UMAP. I don't remember which one is slowest. I think they're quite fast. UMAP is usually faster than
The
TSNE.
UMAP took me 1 minute. The rest were within 30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. So it's not terribly slow. And actually, I made this data set so it should be runnable. So when I had like thousands or tens of thousands, it can take like 10 minutes or something. It will be very tedious to just wait for it to run through. So I think it has like quadratic complexity or something like that. So the more data you have, the more time it takes. So if you have a lot of data, it can actually be good to downsample your data and run on something smaller just to see how it behaves. And if you really want to see everything, run it and go away and take a coffee.
We'll take one more question and then we'll have to do the next part, which is evaluations.
Is it Alfredo?
Alfredo, yeah.
Oh, you're muted, Alfredo.
Yo, so follow. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks for your presentation. I have a very short questions. The first one was you mentioned that in your next paper you found something that only thanks to the visualizations you found it. Otherwise, usually you just go you skip this part or you give him for. So you don't give your result. Don't accept your result as it is, but dig a little bit more. So exploit PCA. So it is something that you recommend also because I see that your data is images. But actually, I work on sometimes I work on surface data, on damage of the surface. Sometimes work with continuous data with change on the time. So probably this is kind of silly question, but can you work with a different kind of image data, not images?
Yes, and that's the really nice thing about this, that it doesn't matter what kind of data you have, as long as you have some kind of feature vector per data point.
Feature vector.
So for each data, you need a sequence of floating point numbers, basically, that describes your data in any way. Like in the iris data sets, it's just measurements of sizes.
Okay.
Yeah. So in your case, I don't know what kind of thing you have. It's some kind of measurements, I guess, and it can be
material.
yeah, and it can be spatially, but
Yeah.
it can also be in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can mix these modes and try to figure out what works best.
Okay.
If you're
So
wondering with feature vector, Alfredo, when we were doing the Titanic sklearn notebook, there was a step where we found out we made the visualization, and in the end we converted them into a feature encoding. There's a heading called feature encoding. That's what feature vector has been created. For each passenger, there was a 6 or 7 dimensional vector.
I will look at. Thank you, Dr. Jayant. I will look back to the video.
I really hope that you can use this. It will be helpful for you. I think so.
Yeah, actually, I need to use because I'm doing a course in linear algebra and also my research. So they talk about a singular value decomposition. So it's kind of similar to PCA.
Yeah, PCA and SVD is basically the same thing, I think.
Yeah.
Mathematics, yeah, the same. I don't know machine learning, but yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Andash, for this presentation and the example. I encourage everyone to try out this Python notebook. It's available in the exercise folder. And with that, we have come to the end of our 4-day course. And I'll just quickly share my screen.